Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is CFI Munden. If you guys like this content, if you can just take a moment to pause and like and subscribe, that would help a lot. It makes this channel grow and I really appreciate it. So first of all, Terry E., the author of this video, man, I really appreciate you posting this because it takes a lot of guts to post a hard landing. It can be kind of scary, embarrassing, but what you do by posting this allows us to take a lesson, to make a lesson out of this and to show future students and other people who are interested in this type of content. So Terry E., thank you. You are providing us with a valuable video here. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna play this video first. Because that's what you guys requested, is for me to play the whole video first so you guys can watch, and then we'll do the play-by-play breakdown of this Cessna 172 landing. Okay, so what did you guys notice from this? So let's go ahead and break it down from the top. So I'm not sure if this guy in the right seat is the pilot or not, or sorry, the instructor. I doubt it because I feel like an instructor would have had his hands on this sooner. But if you look right here, so the first thing I'm gonna look at is, oh, can I zoom in here? Maybe there's a way I can zoom in. I don't really see it here. But what I'm looking at is his airspeed. So it looks like he's right underneath the white arc here. So he's about 70 knots. No, 75 knots. So your approach speed in, this is most likely yeah, can't tell what model this is. Either way, it's irrelevant. He should be at around at least 60 knots, preferably no less, and around 65 knots. So he's well over his approach speed right now. And I'm trying to look at the RPM gauge. I can't really see it. Where is it? RPMs. He has a descent rate of about 500 feet per minute. I can't tell if his flaps are all the way down or not, because that's one of the things I'm looking at is he landing with only 10 degrees? I don't know. We'll see as it comes back up. But right now I'm wondering if his flaps are all the way down. So I'm just looking at his configuration here, okay? So he has a decent descent rate of about 500 feet per minute. He seems to be decent on the glide slope right now, so these lights right here. And his descent rate is about 500 feet per minute, which is pretty good. But he's a little over his approach speed. His RPM setting, I don't really know what that's at. But it looks and it sounds high. So he was at about 1800 RPM. So at this point, we prefer to be around 1500 RPMs. Okay, so he's low on the glides. Actually, he's looking pretty good here. But he's coming in way too fast. So you got way too much energy coming in here, which I'm not talking to you, Tara. I'm just saying, like, when you're coming in like this and the ground is passing you by that quick, you got way too much energy. So it looks like he's about 60 knots right now, maybe 65 knots. At this point, he should already be bled off to like 55, working his way towards 50. Okay, so right here, this is where it starts to go wrong. So it looks like he still has power in at around 1500. So at this point, we should be power idle. That's gonna help us bleed off some energy. I still can't tell. It kind of looks like his flaps are only at 10 to 20 degrees. It doesn't look like a full 30, but we'll see. I could be wrong. But right here, if this is, what, 40? Yeah, so he's coming in. He's still at 60 knots over the ground. Okay, see this first punch right here. Watch what happens. Look at the yoke. So he's porpoising now, right? Mains, nose, main, nose, main, nose. And he's coming back and forth. And this is a recipe for a prop strike. So look at the nose. See how every time Watch out. He drops the nose. So he pulls it back and then he drops it and he pulls it back. And he's basically on like this pendulum of energy where he's like, oh, I bounced up, but I need to drop the nose a little bit. And then he hits the nose again. He bounces. And then you're playing this game. We're going back and forth and back and forth. And what happens is this pendulum of energy gets worse and worse and worse on each side to where eventually you can prop strike the plane. See this dropping? Especially this one right here. Right, let's look at his boom. Okay, so he drops it right there. Boom, boom. Goes around, punches power in. We'll look at the flaps. So he goes up to 10. So he landed with 20 degrees, it looks like. That's not necessarily a problem, assuming you're maintaining good energy here. Management, which he's not. So I bet you if he had 30, that might have helped him a little bit more. He forgets the carb heat, which is going to affect his power. But overall, his go-around is looking pretty good. He's clearly a little shaken up. But at this point, he's just flying the plane, which is good. Okay, he drops the flaps. He remembers carb heat now. He's double checking to make sure everything is good on his configuration. This is often one of the things that happens after a go-around is that the student is kind of flustered and you're supposed to be climbing, right? But he's not really climbing. He's kind of just flying the plane, which is good. Okay. He's talking, he's saying something. Okay, he's getting a climb in there at about 500 feet per minute. This is looking better. Okay, so overall, all right, the go-around was definitely a good decision. At that point, with that porpoising, you're not going to save that unless you are willing to eat up another 2,000 feet of runway, 1,500 feet of runway. There's just no way. So the go-around was a good decision, Okay, let's go back and watch that one more time. And we've all had landings, maybe not porpoises that were this bad, but we've all had pretty rough landings. I've had landings that were porpoise before. It's just a part of learning. So he's looking at the numbers. Yeah, his speed. I want to see how his power comes out. So right here, yeah, he's still high on the power. So at this point, he should have been walking out that power already, but the power stays in. It looks like the power stays at around 1,500. It never comes out at any point, I don't think, which is just asking for either a hard landing or a porpoise or a float. Okay, so power should be coming out now, but it's not. He's too focused on the landing, and he's not flaring. He's not bleeding off the energy. Full power, pushing that nose down, and go around. Okay. So what's the takeaway from this? In my experience, this comes from a lack of managing your energy properly. And from the get-go, you can tell that this approach is way too fast. At least from what I can tell, I wish I could zoom in here. The approach is way too fast. All right, he's coming in at around, let's see if I could zoom in on this. So it looks like, man, he's 75 knots over the ground. He's 75 knots, not over the ground, but he's 75 knots. So at this point, if I was in the right seat and I was an instructor, I would ask my student, I'm like, hey, is this stable? Like, is coming in at 75, 80 knots stable for this length of runway? Because kind of just put that question in their head. And then I want to see them make the decision of whether or not it's going to be a go-around. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't have saved this at this point. What you can do is reduce that power back to idle. So get that power out of there, right? Because you're generating so much forward energy, so much momentum, thrust, that power needs to come out, and then throw in that last 30 degrees and help you slow down. So this was savable at this point. A little trim there. But right here, he should be bleeding it off, and he has barely enough back pressure in there. And he should be, at this point, if he still has that power in, you should be walking out of that power an equal amount of back pressure out. Drops the nose. Once he drops that nose, he also didn't know where he was in relation to the runway. Okay, because what happened is, you know, he thought he was closer, but he was still right here. So he drops the nose and then he starts bouncing. So his sight picture is probably a little off too. But good go around. But yeah, lesson from this is manage your energy properly. If you're coming in too fast or you're uncomfortable with it, I bet you Terry had a few signs and signals before he even touched the ground that this was probably an unstable approach. But regardless, the power didn't come out and not enough flare, and yeah. it's pretty common. It's pretty common. If you haven't done it yet, you will. And overall, Terry, good recovery. Thank you for posting this, and I will see you guys for the next video.